Hello and welcome to Nightly Scroll. I'm Hayley Caronia. Happy Friday evening, everyone. Thank you for spending your Friday evening with me. If you want to watch at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, you got to do it on Rumble. That's the only place you can watch Nightly Scroll in full. If you're watching on Facebook or X, hello. But you should come over and join all the fun in the chat. You can scroll with my homies. I absolutely love it. I love chit-chatting with all of you. So that is the best way, in my opinion, to watch Nightly Scroll. Of course, if you can't catch us at 6, find us on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen. Just feel free to go over to those other platforms, leave a 5-star review, send a link to your friends. The more people who know about the show, the better. So thank you all. What do we have on deck for tonight? Well, we've got a few updates on what we know about Jim Comey's indictment. Top tier Kamala Harris word salad. I hope you're hungry. We've also got a tinfoil hat time segment with a Kirk assassination theory and potential aliens at Cleveland Airport. Guys, I need my tinfoil hat, by the way. If you could just throw it at me. I just totally forgot. Also, Ivanka Trump teamed up with Chobani, and the cancel culture warriors are out in full force. We've got scrolling time, blind reactions, questions if we have time. So without further ado, put your phones on Do Not Disturb. Nightly Scroll starts. Here's what we know so far. Former FBI director, he was indicted by a federal grand jury on 2 counts. First one, making false statements within the jurisdiction of the legislative branch and obstruction of a congressional proceeding. He lied. The indictment alleges that Comey obstructed a congressional investigation into the disclosure of sensitive information. It also alleges that Comey made false statements when he testified that he did not authorize someone at the FBI to serve as an anonymous source. And the indictment states that this is untrue. So what we know as of today, Friday, Comey was expected to surrender today, but maybe some sources are saying that that is not happening. Maybe it was a paperwork, something, but he is expected to be arraigned on October 9th. So that is what we can expect to see him, and he will likely be arrested on that day, if not before. So he will be seen in court, U.S. District Court in Alexandria, Virginia, and this is what he had to say last night after he was indicted. Watch this.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump. But we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it. Which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
Well, he claims he's innocent. The grand jury didn't think so, and he's going to go to trial. So this is... The best is yet to come, as they say. I guess we'll have to see what happens in the court of law. Of course, people on the left are accusing the Trump administration of weaponizing the justice system against their political opponents, which is rich based on, the last, 6 years, 5 years. I mean, it's just been hell on earth for Trump and his associates. But here is what FBI Director Kash Patel posted on X, saying, "Today, your FBI took another step in its promise to full accountability for far too long. Previous corrupt leaders and their enablers weaponize federal law enforcement, damaging once proud institutions and severely eroding public trust." True. Every day we continue the fight to earn that trust back. And under my leadership, this FBI will confront the problem head on. He ended the post saying, "No one is above the law." That includes James Comey. And, I don't think that this just means that James Comey is in hot water. I think there are a lot of people who are probably very afraid right now, because if James Comey was indicted by a grand jury and he's going to go to trial, there's going to be a lot of people that were working under the Obama DOJ and other people working under then FBI Director James Comey that are going to be afraid of the same fate, right? So I think we're going to have a lot to look forward to for us. But James Comey's son-in-law resigned. We saw this post on X last night, but he's no longer working in the, can we pull this up? The post that we have here. It says, breaking, Troy Edwards, James Comey's son-in-law steps down. And he wrote this letter to Lindsay Halligan, who's the interim attorney there in Eastern Virginia. And it says, Miss Halligan, to uphold my oath to the Constitution and country, I hereby resign as Assistant United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia in the Department of Justice, effective immediately. So that was last night. And then this all comes, obviously, as James Comey's daughter, Maureen, is suing over her firing from the Southern District of New York back in July. She was involved in prosecuting Diddy, Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein. She alleges that she was fired without cause because of who her dad is. And, I know everyone in the chat remembers just how politically motivated the Biden DOJ was and the Obama DOJ was to prosecute its political opponents. You can't even compare the treatment of James Comey to anything that the Biden DOJ had in store for President Trump and his associates. I'm old enough to remember what happened to Roger Stone. Here's what he posted on X last night. My only disappointment is that they publicly announced this tonight. Would have been much better if 29 heavily armed FBI agents swarmed his home at 6 a.m. to arrest him. The charges are identical to those against me, so why not the same manner of arrest? And maybe this is just because it's former FBI Director James Comey. Maybe it's because, we're showing a little bit more grace than the other side did.
That's exactly what they didn't have much grace for old Raj.
Yeah. No, Roger, and then the pre-dawn raid on Mar-a-Lago. I mean, they were known to conduct these kinds of arrests and these kinds of raids in the middle of the night with, like he said, these heavily armed FBI agents. Of course, when we do things, it's a little different around here. We have a little decorum. But of course, weaponizing the justice system against your political opponents is fine when the Democrats do it. And then when they're held accountable, they blame Trump and they call him a dictator. James Comey is a guy who posted on Instagram 8647, which, by the way, wasn't just like a cute shell formation. It influenced other Democrats to say the same thing. Those Krasenstein brothers on X, they're just, liberal grifters. I don't know which one of them did it, but one of them posted 8647, but it was like, what are they called? Like billiards balls? Is that the right word? Yeah.
Yeah. Pool balls, billiards balls. Yeah.
So he did that. And then remember, we covered this on the show. There was a teacher who wore an 8647 shirt. She was taking her students on a class field trip to the Capitol. She was standing in front of the White House. So these actions matter. They are not just words with no consequences. People with influence on the political left are calling for their political opponents to be taken out. You can argue all you want about the nuance. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Oh, I didn't want to kill him. But, we've seen this too many times now where people are taking up arms against people they disagree with. This potential incitement to violence is obviously not why James Comey was indicted. He was indicted for lying under oath. But I'm just using him as a recent example and a relevant example of a voice on the left that uses his power to take down his opponents. And now he's crying that he's being forced to face the music. And like he says, he claims he's innocent. He's ready to go to trial. Well, let's play ball. People in the media have been calling for elected leaders and other prominent members of, both political parties and leaders to do something about this rise in political violence. And not to be pessimistic, but I don't think that there's much that they can do. Because the left won't stop slandering the right as dangerous and evil. We know laws don't stop criminals. And I think any, legislative action that could be taken against these groups, these leftist groups like Antifa and others, will just embolden them. They will feel like, there's a target on their back, as there should be. But, these are very dangerous, violent people. And following Kirk's murder, the Heritage Foundation was pushing the FBI to create this new designation for transgender individuals as extreme. And it's called TIVE, Transgender Ideology Inspired Violence and Extremism. That's what they wanted this distinction to be called, which I think should happen, by the way, because it's a concerning trend. But I think that once that happens, we will see even more violence against conservatives from that community. They're just getting started, in my opinion. That's what I'm afraid about. But making that distinction, it won't fix the problem, nor will it make conservatives any safer. The left has totally convinced us and gaslit us into thinking that they don't have guns, they hate guns, they want, guns to go away, they want all law-abiding Republicans to give up their guns, they're advocating for this gun buyback program, things like that. When people on their side of the aisle are the ones taking up arms against their political opponents, it almost seems like it's part of a plan to blame gun violence on law-abiding Republican gun owners and then gaslighting us to believe that, Republicans don't play, liberals don't play any role in this. But as we know, Republicans are not the only guys with guns now. Armed Queers, Salt Lake City, is a group that is now in the public eye, I think, especially since what happened to Charlie Kirk. But their Instagram account is shut down. They used to have an Instagram account. I saw screenshots, and now they're kind of I think maybe trying to take a step back or whatever. But Andy sent me this, that there is a lecture between Armed Queers Salt Lake City and Mecca, and it is happening this weekend. And it is going to be Armed Queers and Mecca. They want you to come learn about the radical history of the queer liberation movement. And on this poster for this event is a trans person with a gun and, all this, all these rounds of ammunition. And there's a rainbow flag in the back. I mean, can you scroll up a little bit so people can see that? But it says queer resistance. Of course, it has the, these communist undertones: agitate, educate, organize.
This is unbelievable.
They're not hiding.
The one thing I want to know about all of this too is there is some LGBTQ whatever representation of a person right there with Rambo with about 60, 70 rounds. Well, Hayley, who and where is teaching that person to use that AK-47?
It's a good question.
Where is that happening? Because I guarantee you that person does not know how to use that AK-47 unless that picture was taken in Afghanistan.
And I'm looking up Mecca, Salt Lake City. I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is?
Say that one more time.
This is a group. It's Armed Queers Salt Lake City with Mecca. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, we were talking through that.
Mecca will not be silenced. Students in Mecca say they're targeted for speaking out. It doesn't say what it is. I don't know what that stands for. I think it's pro-Palestine. I'm trying to look it up. If you got Mecca describes itself as an anti-imperialist, anti-colonial socialist. So it's just a bunch of Marxist mumbo jumbo. But of course, Armed Queers and the pro-Palestine crowd are teaming up once again, which makes no sense. But, these people are armed, they are mentally ill, and they genuinely believe that Republicans are the enemy. Do you think that any of those people signing up for that event agree with Democrats and their plans for gun control? I don't. I think they want to be armed and dangerous. This is they've convinced themselves that this is a trans resistance movement and we are the enemy. They have been totally convinced by the media machine and the Democrat Party that they are oppressed. They are in danger in Trump's America. So they are taking up arms, and clearly we've seen this with the rise in trans mass shooters. We just saw it in Minnesota. We saw it in Nashville. And most recently, they are not afraid to resort to violence against the other side or anyone they deem threatening to their ass-backwards standards and lifestyle choices. Now, I want to play you a video I'm not insinuating that the person in this next video is armed and dangerous. I have no evidence that they're part of this armed queers group or anything like that. I want to make that clear. But this is a furry who allegedly goes to BYU. And in this video posted back in February, he was insinuating that he is afraid of the people around him. So watch this.
I just finished a photo shoot and I want to go outside and walk around. But I go to BYU and I live in Provo, Utah. So that's a bad idea because I value my life. Well, maybe I will go walk around.
Did he say I might lose my life?
Yeah. They might lose his life. And then he said, then I may go walk around.
I don't get this. I don't know where this fear is stemming from. Christians may not agree or support that lifestyle, but I haven't seen much evidence of Christians being violent against the LGBTQ community. I certainly don't agree with whatever was happening in that video, but I wouldn't wish harm on this person. I would assume that most people would, put as much distance as they possibly can between themselves and this individual. But this just goes to show the mentality, living in fear, made up fear of a group of people, a religion, a political affiliation with no real basis other than that Democrat politicians bending to this community and desperately trying to make them feel safe and supported from this evil other side, right? This is make-believe, and clearly people who dress up as animals for fun buy into make-believe.
Yeah, and it's dangerous too. I mean, number one, they feel oppressed, and then number two, I believe that there's a sense of adventure that these kind of people feel by going to a rally like that, to where somebody is pictured, and that's just a recipe for. It's a recipe for disaster. It's a cocktail that ends up in a really bad situation for a lot of people.
Totally. No, it's something to look at. I want to take a quick break to tell you about Home Title Lock. If you are a homeowner in America, you need to listen to this. The FBI has been warning about a type of real estate fraud on the rise called title theft, and your equity is the target. This is how it works. Criminals forge your signature on a single document. They use a fake notary stamp, and then they file it with the county. And just like that, on record, they own your home. Using your ownership, they can take out loans against your equity and even sell your property right from underneath you. And you won't know about it until foreclosure or collection notices show up in the mail. That is why I have partnered with Home Title Lock so that you can protect your equity and find out today if you are already a victim. Use my promo code SCROLL at HomeTitleLock.com and you will get a free home title history report and a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That is 24/7 monitoring of your title records, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud occurs, their US-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix it. Your house is not just a house, it is your home with your family and everything you love inside. So trust Home Title Lock to protect all of that. Do not be a victim. Protect your equity today. That is HomeTitleLock.com, promo code SCROLL, and that is a paid subscription after the 14-day trial ends, but you can cancel anytime. All right, have you seen this video of Ilhan Omar? She's been in the news lately, and every time I feel like she's saying something, it's anti-American. So this is no different. Watch this.
To be coming out of our country. I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights, while our president is spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade. It is really shocking, and it should be a wake-up call for all Americans to say this is not the country we were born in. This is not the country we believe in. This is not the country our founding fathers imagined.
She hates this country.
Bro, you know, off the top of your head, you know where she's from?
Somalia.
Yeah, she's from Mogadishu. Black Hawk Down, that whole incident took place there were some helicopters that went down over us, and when
I know it.
So Black Hawk.
I haven't watched the movie.
My point
but I
is
know
that whole thing happened in Mogadishu, in Somalia. You don't see random towns in the U.S. with helicopters down and street people fighting the military. Like, she has no idea what she's saying. It's objectively not true.
Right.
You also don't see random Americans marrying their brother.
Also true. Also very true.
Fifth cousins. Second, you can't go second cousins. You can't go brother. You can go fifth cousins.
We got to catch her. What state was that you can't marry?
Connecticut. She's only got 4 more days.
She has to go travel through Connecticut so we can arrest her.
Yeah, totally. But I don't know why there's so much hate. Democrats say this stuff. Like, why do Americans hate their country? And it's because their elected officials say stuff like this. And the people who have elected Democrats, like Ilhan Omar, by the way, feel more aligned with the Palestinian people than Americans. It's just wild. And there's all these groups of, like I said, queers, of course, Queers for Palestine, but also other, socialist groups for Palestine. And they never supported Kamala Harris, by the way. The Queers for Palestine and all them, although they are leftists, they didn't think that the Biden administration was doing enough.
Yeah, they were too far left to support.
They were way too far left to even support her. So Kamala Harris, as we all know, is on this book tour talking about her 107 days of glory before she had to, walk away with her tail between her legs. But she was on this panel promoting her new book with Aaron Parnas. If you don't know Aaron Parnas, he is massively popular on TikTok. He does, people think that he's like straight news, but he's clearly leftists. So she was doing a panel with Aaron Parnas promoting her book, and it was interrupted by Free Palestine protesters. And Kamala Harris was probably very grateful that the Palestine protesters did interrupt her, because I don't think she knew where the back half of her sentence was going.
Oh, you stole what I was gonna. You stole what I was gonna say.
She had no idea what she was saying.
The definition. She needs to shake all of their hands and be like, "Thank you so much for saving me in this auditorium."
Watch this.
Listen, please. I actually also write about this, okay? Which is about what I know about how and why you are saying what you are saying now, and how I felt about it. You're not letting me talk. You know what? I respect your right to speak, but you're not letting me speak.
That was a world class. That would have been one of the top 5 Kamala Harris word salads if she was allowed to finish. Let her speak. Let her speak.
You know, like how you get the pinwheel of death on a Mac? Like, that just needs to illuminate above her head. And then everybody can have grace.
Wait,
like,
can you play Can you play the first part again? She says something so stupid. Hold on.
Listen, please. I actually also write about this, okay? Which is about what I know about how and why you are saying what you are saying now, and how I felt about it. You're not letting me talk. You know what? I
Second go around. I have no idea what she's talking about.
How I know what you all are speaking about, and we're like, what? We need a translator.
I would rather her just get up there and be like, 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish.
You would make a lot more sense.
Yeah. Just say random stuff. Like, at least I could be like, oh, I know that. I know Dr. Seuss.
I love how, of course, because she's saying legitimate nonsense. Like, what is coming out of her mouth is nonsense completely. And of course, like, then the protesters are, they're just protesting because this is what they do. Someone probably paid them to be there.
I would pay. If I was her, I would pay. I would hire me 5 or 6 protesters just to go around everywhere. If I get stuck, just start protesting. I'll get $100 a piece.
That's probably who's paying the protesters. Kamala's probably paying them. Hey, when I start to slip
we figured
up,
it out. Breaking.
when I start to slip up, you start yelling, and then I'll do my signature. You're not letting me speak.
That's just so predictable.
We figured it
That's probably
out.
what's happening.
We cracked the code. That's their strategy. Okay, but I found a liberal TikToker who was actually calling out the nonsense, not the nonsense that Kamala Harris was trying to say, but the nonsense of the Free Palestine protesters protesting Kamala Harris. Listen to this.
All of you guys going to protest Kamala Harris at her book tour to interrupt, to scream about Gaza, I've got to be the dumbest people I've ever met.
True.
What sense does it make to interrupt someone at their book tour who's not the president? There is nothing she can do. Have you been to the White House? Have you stood outside on Pennsylvania Avenue? The White House is right down there. Right down there. Pennsylvania is right down there. I live in Washington, D.C. You can go right down the street. You can go yell at him. Y'all will go interrupt Harris talking about her own personal experience for her book tour before you go interrupt the president who decides policy, who determines what actually happens overseas. Y'all give black women the kind of animosity you would never give that white man. And you should examine why that is. Anyways, keep screaming at someone who can't do anything, who tried to do something, who tried to run, who didn't win. Take a Civics 101 course, learn how government works, learn who's in power.
Okay, so obviously I don't agree with everything she was saying there. Civics course, all this. These people didn't vote for Kamala Harris because, like I said before, she was not far left enough for them. And they didn't think that she was going to do anything on Israel and Palestine, and she probably wouldn't have if she won anyway. But when she was saying, you're protesting the wrong person, I agree. They're protesting at the wrong person because Kamala Harris is powerless. But even if they did protest in front of the White House, it does not make a difference. Trump does not care. Trump is not like, oh, the queers outside want me to do, this or that. Like,
go hold the fence down there and scream at the front door. Nobody cares.
He also doesn't care. This is what I'm saying.
And it happens every day anyway.
Every day. But yeah, so yeah. The point I'm trying to make is protesting is stupid regardless. I will fight for your right to do it. You have the right to do it in this country, but it is dumb and it is a waste of time. And so to her point about it is a waste of time protesting at Kamala Harris, I agree. It's also a waste of time to protest in front of Trump or in front of the White House or at all. But Kathy Griffin is back. I don't know, maybe she got a facelift or something, so now she's feeling a little better, a little more presentable. So she's been doing some podcast appearances, and she teamed up with Don Lemon. I don't know what we did to deserve these two on a podcast at the same time. Seems like cruel and unusual punishment, but listen to this.
So all right, look, you ready for a tinfoil hat moment?
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry? Are you ready for a tinfoil hat moment? Yes. Okay, I'm just going to be bold and say this. And, you can take issue with this all you want. I do not think he won in a free and fair election. How do you like that, lefties? Yeah, I said it. I'm Kathy Griffin, and I do not think Trump won in a free and fair election. I believe there was tampering. I don't know. I don't know if it was the Elon connection. I don't know if it was just a few good old boys in the South who didn't do what they accuse us of. If you remember Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, what they tend to accuse us of is what we find out they themselves did. So I know I'll take heat for this and people are going to say I'm crazy, but I've been called crazy before, Don. And I just, the more times
your gut is telling you something happened.
My gut is telling me that something was up with that.
You're not far off. I won't say that I disagree with you, but
okay.
I'm an evidence.
All right, sorry, Kathy. I have to take my tinfoil hat off. You're wrong. But Don Lemon saying there, like he was saying that and Kathy was saying the same thing. Like accusations are admissions of guilt. Like what the right is saying. That's what the left is saying the right was actually doing and vice versa. They were the ones that started the election denying conversation around Hillary Clinton in 2016. When Hillary Clinton lost, even Hillary Clinton herself, and she still does this to this day because she can't get over it, is, the process and I should have won and I was the popular vote. Like she goes back down this rabbit hole where she genuinely thinks that she should have won. And the scariest part of this is that Americans on both sides of the aisle now don't trust the government. They don't trust the media. They don't trust the rule of law. They don't trust our elections. And everyone is pointing fingers at the other side. That is a really scary place to be in. Also really scary is Cynthia Nixon, former Sex and the City actress, former New York City mayoral candidate from a few years back. Now she's wearing Mickey ears, telling everyone who canceled their Disney subscriptions over Jimmy Kimmel to quickly undo and give them money again. So watch this.
Did you watch Kimmel last night? I did. I laughed so hard. I was so happy to see him back. But unfortunately, 20% of Americans were not given the option to watch him. If you were in New Orleans, if you were in Salt Lake, St. Louis, DC, Nashville, you didn't get a chance. And that's the fault of Sinclair and Nexstar. So if you're in those markets, call those people up, complain, call their advertisers, or just, watch him on YouTube like 9 million people did last night. I, like so many people who in protest canceled their Disney and Hulu subscriptions, have signed back up. So do that too.
That was quick.
Disney.
That was quick. I'm not taking advice personally from an adult in Mickey ears just because she doesn't seem like a sane human being.
I told Justin she looks like she's at like a carnival game and somebody's getting ready to throw footballs at her. I mean,
and she's got the crazy eyes and she almost looks like she's crying a little bit over Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, she just looks like she's in distress over this. I mean, this is a crazy woman.
She canceled and resubscribed 3 days later.
Yep.
They didn't even lose money.
Nope, they did not.
It's a monthly subscription.
Yep.
What do you get if you throw a football and hit both them targets at the carnival? You get like a stuffed bear.
You get a Disney Plus subscription and all the Jimmy Kimmel you could possibly take.
Or maybe you get maybe if you win,
you get a can of Tylenol.
Maybe if you win, you get
all the Tylenol you can eat and all the Jimmy Kimmel you can watch.
That's hilarious.
Oh God, to be a liberal, I couldn't do it. All right, HBO is rebooting Harry Potter, right? And I am of the camp, if it's not broken, don't freaking touch it. Don't touch it. Don't fix it. Then I know that there are some Harry Potter fans that think that the movies didn't even scratch the surface and there is a need for a longer TV series. So Harry Potter is going to come back on HBO in the form of a TV series, and Voldemort could be a woman. According to Daniel Rickman, he is an entertainment writer for CNBC. He is saying that they are auditioning both men and women for Voldemort. So it's possible we could see a female Voldemort in the Harry Potter series. Why? Voldemort is a man. His name is Tom Riddle in the books. He is a man. And I saw someone in the comment section of this saying, it's okay if the actress is a woman so long as she is playing the role of Voldemort and Voldemort still stays a man. Just have a man play a man and have women play women and have white people play white people and black people play black people. Why are we gender bending and race swapping? Just leave everything as it is. There's no need for this.
There's a woman out there as ugly as the picture that I'm looking at here. Oh my God, give her a casting call.
Hillary
Bring
Clinton
her in there.
Even
let her read.
That much work
Yeah, if
done.
a woman looks like that, let her read.
No, I don't like this.
This just feels like it's just word salad. That's just I'm virtue signaling over to the other side. Yes, we hear you. You know what I mean? And they're going to do it. They're going to do what they want.
Maybe they'll just say that they're auditioning women. Oopsies, sorry. Maybe they'll just audition women and they won't actually go that direction. Just so they can pat themselves on the back.
They're patting themselves on the back and they're virtue signaling.
They're opening themselves up for critique because if they audition women and they don't choose a woman, then they're bigoted. They're all the things.
Unless there's a woman as ugly as that, and then they're genius.
Right. All right, let's get into some tinfoil hat time. I'll wait to put on my hat. I always go the wrong way. Okay. Now, this, I'm not like super into all the conspiracy theories about Charlie Kirk's assassination, only because it's very touchy and it's sensitive, right? Like, this is one of our own that was assassinated in a disgusting, horrific political assassination, a murder. But this video did get me thinking. There are some weird idiosyncrasies between what happened in this assassination of Charlie Kirk and also a Nicolas Cage movie. Watch this.
Guys, there is an insane connection with what happened with Charlie Kirk and a movie that came out in 1998. So the movie is called Snake Eyes and it starred Nicolas Cage. And the movie was about a man named Charles Kirkland who got shot in the neck at a public event. Now, in the first 10 seconds of the movie, there is a sign for this event, and it says that it takes place on September 10th. So in this movie, the killer killed Charles Kirkland on September 10th, which is when our Charlie Kirk got killed. It gets even crazier because the killer in this movie is called the Executioner, and he is a distraction for the person who actually did the killing of Charles Kirkland. And get this, the person who took the rap for it in the movie's name is Tyler. Tyler. You know, the same thing that happened to Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson. And on the box for this movie and on the trailer of this movie, underneath where it says Snake Eyes, it says, "Believe everything but your eyes." Guys, what is happening?
The very first thing I think of is there's no way that she's seen that 90s action movie. I mean, Nick Cage was on.
Have you seen it?
Oh yeah, no,
I haven't.
The whole
Never
movie's
already
about
knew that.
4 or 5. The whole movie's about, it's probably like 6 or 7 key individuals that are involved in the plot. And for about 20 minutes, it spends on each one of them telling the same story through their eyes.
Okay.
And so that everybody runs into each other, but from a different perspective. And so you sort of get all the investigatory kind of stuff, and then it all sums together for the end of the movie. It is not a bad movie, but there's a lot of that's a lot of life.
This is weird, right? Like
art meeting life, yeah.
There are a lot of connections. Like the guy in the movie that was killed, his name is Charles Kirkland. That's a weird coincidence.
And then Tyler.
He was also not that Charlie Kirk is a politician, but he's a political figure. And in the movie, Charles Kirkland was the United States Secretary of Defense. So, you know, target on his back, political assassination. We just saw a similar political assassination of Charlie Kirk. So we have Charles Kirkland, Charlie Kirk, both in politics, both shot in the neck, both killed on September 10th. And the guy who took the fall for the assassination in the movie, his name is Tyler, and the alleged assassin's name is Tyler as well.
It's creepy. I mean, it's just creepy. There's a lot of interesting, you know, parallels there. It's hard to believe that a movie could get like all of that right in real life, but like it's also hard to believe that the furry community is sitting around loving 90s Nick Cage, watching Snake Eyes.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
So to me,
I mean, this ain't Harry Potter 7. It's prime Nick Cage.
Are they inspired by the movie? Did someone watch this movie? The guy who killed Charlie Kirk, did he watch this movie and say, I'm going to do this on September 10th? And it just so happens that Charlie Kirk is speaking in my state on September 10th. You know, it's almost like too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence. But at the same time, like, how do you plan something so perfect? I think it is just a coincidence.
I mean, this movie came out in 98. And so, I mean, was that guy even born yet? You know, it's hard to believe that.
Charlie Kirk was born, yeah.
No, I mean the
killer?
The killer.
I don't know.
So it's like hard to believe.
I don't think so.
No, he wasn't even born yet. By a few years, he wasn't
see a movie. I wasn't born when Princess Bride came out.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I saw it. You guys bullied me into it.
Now you're an avid fan. Movies were better then, so you should have. But all I'm trying to say is there's no chance that guy I just don't believe that guy has seen that unless he's watched it with a super conservative dad or something like that. I don't know. But I don't think that community is really into action 90s Nick Cage. But it's weird that there's that much.
Weird.
And very weird.
It's weird. All right, this next conspiracy. We've talked about the Denver airport on this show before, all the weirdness happening at the Denver airport. Well, this is the Cleveland airport, and I have 3 videos for you. 3 travelers that have noticed a weird alien type something noise coming over the speakers. So here's the first one.
Am I that tired, or is the airport really making this weird noise?
Slow. Okay. Weird. But he wasn't the only one. So watch this. It says alien noises at Cleveland, 9:23.
Sounds like midnight at the zoo.
It's weird. Let's play the last one. Demonic noises, voices over intercom.
Oh, it was like Thursday.
Okay, Andy, you're the audio expert. What's your take?
Oh, that's definitely not like normal to come through a PA system. You know what I mean? Especially at an airport. I mean, there's so much important things that probably are very, like, your average person just couldn't get on it's not Walmart. You just pick up the phone and get on the comms.
If you work at the airport and you're in charge of, whatever is going off over the intercom, which I'm sure most of it is like pre-recorded, and it's like all the messages about, make sure you do this, and blah, 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 like security, blah, 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 like all these, and then they usually have whoever the mayor is of the town, like, I'm mayor, blah, 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 and welcome to my city, whatever. They have all these like pre-recorded things. If you're in charge of that and you hear wah, 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 like, don't you turn it off?
I would be panicking, but I think like if I'm seeing these right, this is not exactly every single one of these videos are at the same part of the airport. So this was the entire coverage of the airport. It's not some like environmentally placed speaker section like at Disney where you can like walk through and there's, it didn't appear to me like, oh, there's a birds chirping or a river running or whatever in this one little environmental place. I mean, it sounded like it was over the entire PA system.
I'm also going to bring up the connection that a lot of these Christian TikTokers believed that the rapture was going to happen on the 23rd, 24th, and this was happening on the same day. So I think if you were one of those people, you were probably very afraid.
Well, it's just like a practical joke, maybe?
No, I saw a lot of people online saying that it sounded like it was whatever recording they had, like, slowed down a bunch.
So at the, you remember the Y2K?
But then how does that happen,
You remember the Y2K scare?
Yeah.
I was at a big lock-in with I was in high school. I was a big lock-in with a bunch of churches, and right at midnight, we were all in this gym, and somebody went to the breaker and flipped the breaker off. So it freaked us out at midnight. Somebody cut the power. This feels to me like if I was going to try to debunk it, it feels like a joke. It feels like somebody's playing a joke.
I think that the audio somehow got manipulated where something was wrong with the speaker system. And
like it's like digital impedance, or it's just like something crazy's going on.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's aliens.
When producer Justin hacked it.
That's what happened. All right, let's get into scrolling time. I hate cancel culture. And Chobani is getting canceled because they have partnered up with Ivanka Trump. So Ivanka Trump was on one of the business shows, on CNBC, and she's explaining her partnership with Chobani. All they want to do is cut back on food waste. Watch.
I can't believe one strawberry is better than another, but it is. And they have to be large, they have to be succulent, they have to look good to be enough to sell premium prices. But there's so many that are wasted.
Well, a year ago, I founded a company called Planet Harvest with a co-founder, Melissa Ackerman, who was at the time running one of the largest produce logistics companies in the United States. And we started talking about the amount of food waste that's happening at a field level. and it is atrocious. So with any given crop, roughly 40% of the harvest is just left in the field. And this is due to cosmetic spec that typically it's a millimeter too big or too small. It's such a unnoticeable difference, and it's a difference that should be celebrated. Fruit isn't supposed to be universally sized. And amazingly, there's no secondary market for produce at scale in the United States. So that translates to 40 billion pounds of wasted produce that's lost revenue for the farmers. It's nutritious food that doesn't get it onto community tables. And obviously all the negative environmental externalities. So personally, I love being contrarian by being obvious. And I said, somebody's got to take this on. So we founded Planet Harvest to address that. And
so Planet Harvest, Ivanka Trump, she founded that, again, to combat food waste, like she was saying and explaining there. And she has partnered up with Chobani, which is a company. They have yogurt, they have coffee creamer, they have all these things. So leftists on TikTok were taking to making videos about how they are going to cancel Chobani now. Watch this one first protest. It's a no from me. This person takes their Chobani creamer and dumps it in the garbage. And then this next one, similar thing, saying, trying to make my Chobani creamer last as long as possible because I will not be purchasing it anymore because of who they partnered with. Meaning Ivanka Trump. Imagine being such a cancel culture loser that you won't buy your favorite coffee creamer anymore because they partnered up with Ivanka Trump to combat food waste. Like, shouldn't liberals and climate change alarmists, like, shouldn't they all be happy? Isn't this something that we can all get behind? That if a strawberry is this big and not, this big, it's going to get thrown out? I mean, can't we all agree that food waste is bad? No, these people, they can't. That's how much they hate Trump, because Ivanka Trump, his daughter is doing something good, so they can't get behind it. So that therefore they have to cancel the coffee creamer and the dairy company. It's insane. You can't please these people. All right, I love talking about airport shenanigans. What would you do if you were on a night flight and you saw this? It says plane etiquette. Please turn off your light up cat ears during a night flight. And these are actually headphones that someone is wearing, and they are light up cat ear headphones. This is a party foul if I've ever seen one. You can't be wearing something like that on an airplane on a night flight. I even get mad. I know you're allowed to use the lights up there, but like, come on, just listen to something. If it's a night flight, people want to sleep. If it's an early flight, close the windows. I know people get all up in arms because I paid for a window seat. I'm going to look out the window. And it's like, okay, but it's 6 a.m.
This one right here is completely, it's just like, it is the case to look at when somebody's like, I matter more than you.
Right. And no shame.
I matter more than you. I matter more than you. It's like being considerate matters. And those people with the ears,
what adult
you're not
is
the only
buying
one on the plane.
light up anything? What grown adult is buying light up anything? Light up cat ears, light up. Ew. Like, I'm a cat lady, and I would never in a bajillion years buy this. It's weird as fuck. Like, who is buying that? Who is wearing that?
But they're definitely not doing it for the audio quality. They're doing it to get on people's nerves and say, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I matter, I matter, I matter, I matter. And it's like, the thing is, nobody's telling you don't matter. You're a person. You matter.
Be anonymous in the airport.
You don't
be as anonymous and quiet as humanly possible. Just shut up and sit down and get your bag. You got 30 seconds or less to get your bag out and go.
Give them a good forearm shiver in the back,
And just leave
Long
everyone
Island
alone.
style.
Shut up.
Long
leave
Island
everyone
style.
alone.
Forearm shiver in the back.
What time are we at? We got 10 minutes. All right. Rory McIlroy had some nice things to say about the good old US of A at the Ryder Cup. Listen to this.
What were your impressions as a kid of America growing up? And then now having lived here for so long, how is it similar or different to what you thought it would be like?
Everyone wanted to make it in America. It's the land of opportunity. I still believe it's the greatest country in the world. And if you come here and you work hard and you dedicate yourself, you can be or do whatever you want. I am unbelievably grateful and lucky that I got to come to America early on. And I think success is celebrated here. I think there's a wonderful sense of work ethic. And yeah, as you know, I live here. My wife is American. My daughter is American. You know, I have a lot of affinity towards this country, and I think everyone that lives here should have that same affinity, because it is a wonderful place.
You know, that's a very nice thing to say as the leader of Team Europe when he lives in the United States of America. He has this is a class act thing to say. This is the only answer.
I have a completely different stance here. He is doing this so the people at Bethpage don't get on his case all weekend. This is a Ryder Cup. You can't play. You're Irish, bro. You're on the other team. You're from across the way. By that I mean across the pond.
You don't think that was nice? You thought he was lying through his teeth when he said all those nice things about the United States?
Listen, the best lie is one that's half true. You just throw a little, you know, looking at, I love America. America's great. My wife's American. My kid's American. I live over here. Aren't I American? Don't boo me as much as you boo the other people on my European team, please. No, I ain't falling for it. If you're at Bethpage and you're happen to be watching this, boo him. We're USA in it this weekend.
All right, fine. I thought we were just going to have a nice little kumbaya moment, but Andy says no.
It's not. Well, they're your people on Long Island. They're watching this.
I know he's afraid of him, as he should be.
So I mean, I ain't telling you anything you don't know. This tricks ain't working on them.
All right, this last video that I have for you, because we're going to get into some blind reactions. This is a World War II and Korean War veteran, Jim Robinson. He celebrated his 104th birthday at the National World War II Museum in New Orleans, and he got a musical send-off. So watch this.
But then his number came up and he was gone with the drag. He was in the army line of Lord Reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He made a low bugle for his Uncle Sam. He really brought him down because he couldn't jam. The captain seemed to understand, because the next day the captain put out a draft in the bed. Now the company jumps when he plays Reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. I toot, the attitude blows an angel before. Look at
him clapping.
And the company jumps beneath his reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He was.
And if you look closely, he's tapping his toe just like a little bit. Isn't that so sweet?
No, that's awesome.
I love our
and those
vets.
dudes are an absolute
104.
cherish. Like they are our World War II veterans are becoming more scarce and more scarce and more scarce. And I know in the documentary industry, there's been a recent push. It's been about the last 15 years to try to get those stories documented. Mm-hmm. From Kim Burns to Netflix to all kinds of people are really trying to get World War II footage captured and stories told. American Veterans, Association and all. I mean, there's just bless that guy. Because he's still with us and
104
a lot of
years
absolutely.
old. That's incredible to be that old. What a blessing to be that old. So, all right, let's get into some blind reactions. I have not seen these videos before, but here we go.
All right, here we go. Here is the first one.
For your hatching ceremony, would you like it to be loud or quiet today?
Quiet.
Absolutely, let's do it. All right, so what I'm going to need you to do is raise your right hand and repeat after me. I promise.
I promise.
Take care of this dragon.
Take care of this dragon.
Like a true Viking.
Like a true Viking.
I will give it lots of love.
I will give it lots of love.
I will give it lots of food.
I will give it lots of food.
And show it my favorite thing.
And show it my favorite thing.
Perfect. Now it knows it's ready to come on out. So on the count of three, my favorite part. You're going to pull the bottom of the shell and we'll hatch it together. 1, 2, and 3. Baby, thank you. Yay! Alrighty. Oh, he turned out absolutely adorable. So you're going to hold on to that little one while I put.
Guys, like, these are adults. I hate Disney adults so much. I really do. Like, they freak me out.
Remember when I called them unsettling?
They are.
That was the video I was watching
unsettling.
a couple days ago. Yeah.
Disney adults are unsettling. What do you mean you're having an unhatching ceremony? And do you want your unhatching ceremony to be loud or quiet? What is wrong with these people? They're like so easily triggered. Like, how could you be triggered by that? That wasn't loud. They're like, I can't believe that these are real. They're real people. All right, let's watch the next one. Oh, man. What is that?
A Labubu.
Is it a Dubai chocolate Labubu?
Yeah, but we're going to keep bringing these
What are
up
these
on the
food
show until you make a Shrek cookie.
Food. I have not done that. What do you think this is made out of that it's melting so fast? Chocolate?
Ice cream or something, probably.
It didn't have a chance. This thing didn't have a chance.
But how would an ice cream Labubu even stay up for that
I don't know,
long?
frosting maybe? I don't know.
I'm calling fake attempt on this one. I think the Shrek.
I'm not a Labubuologist.
Look at it. It's all...
Yeah. I think the Shrek and the meat. Remember the
out
meat
over
flops?
the side.
I think the meat flops. That was a good, honest attempt at a product. I don't know that this is a good, honest attempt. I think this is just for clicks.
I thought it was Stitch from Lilo and Stitch at first, but it was a Labubu. Do you have another one for me?
Yeah, this pilot left his mic on when he
Is
was
this
leaving.
the last video?
Yeah, this is the last one.
Okay, last video of the show.
This pilot left his microphone on when he was leaving maybe a more liberal city than he's used to.
143 is ready to go. Yeah, fuck this place. Goddamn liberal fucks. Probably like 8 guns out here somewhere. That's it. Fucking weirdos. Probably driving around them fucking Hyundais and fucking lower shit. They go slow as fuck.
And last calling on tower, that's 12410 hot mic.
If you don't have balls unless you're fucking rolling coal.
Hot mic.
God damn it.
He's like, uh-oh, my mic is on. He was just spitting facts and, speaking his mind.
He was ready to get out there. Hey, one thing before we go. I know the chat in the last couple of days have noticed this a little bit. We've had a little direction happening in the studio, and you're in slightly a little bit different position in the studio. It helps look, but I also love the fact that we getting some better camera angles that I might be able to kind of bounce forth with production. And one of them is the drink cam. I really enjoy it here.
I do have multiple drinks.
Yeah, your 7 liters of water and coffee there can
you gotta stay hydrated,
shown to the
coffee dehydrates, the water hydrates. You just have, you got to do both.
So we'll keep the audience
my voice
excited
gotta stay
about
loose. I got to talk for an hour. I mean, what do you want from me? I have to.
that. You've choked on the water a couple of times this week, so.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much for scrolling along with me today and spending your Friday evening with me. I will catch you all back here on Monday on the Bongino Report channel, rumble.com/Hayley to watch the show in full. Listen on your favorite podcast platform. Follow me on social media at Hayley Caronia on X, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Truth Social. And I'll see you right back here on Monday.